Good morning, it's Friday the 20th of January 2012. This is Chris Reardon's United Kingdom Talk. Listen, my voice is back to normal, boys and girls. No coughing, no sniffling, and voice is back to normal, I'm pleased to say. I did think it was never going to come back. Isn't it awful when you're trying to get those words out, and all you're getting is that, or I sound like a crow. I sound a little bit like a crow, but perhaps. I've got something very, very special for you today, boys and girls. A brand new music video. As you know, we don't usually do music on this show, but something that I came across actually on someone's Facebook wall. And I watched it, and I thought, this is brilliant. The video is called We Are The Brits. And it's possibly one of the most patriotic things I've ever seen in my life. It's fantastic. A little bit more of that in a minute or two, okay? Sorry I wasn't with you yesterday. It turned out to be quite a busy day the day before, actually, going down to Bournemouth and back. You may remember I had to go to Bournemouth to have a look around a hotel, the Marriott Hotel, which is right on the cliff there. And I was supposed to be being booked to do a wedding in June later on this year, and when I take a booking in a hall that I don't know, I always go down there first before I say yes or no. The thing is, they wanted karaoke as well, which is not usually a problem. My karaoke system works on the internet. I use a special karaoke internet site that you have to subscribe to. But of course, that does mean you need an internet signal. Now, the hotel itself has internet in the hotel, and usually that is good enough, you know, if you're doing some sort of outside booking. I also have two of those little dongles. Do you know they look a little bit like USB sticks? One with T-Mobile and the other with the 3 telephone network, which I very, very rarely use the 3 one, never really need to. And I got to this hotel, and I thought I'd just quickly check on my mobile phone if there's a signal in here. And there was definitely a mobile phone signal, so that was fine. But the actual room where they were holding the wedding reception was down in a basement. And I thought, oh, not so sure about this. Anyway, I was met by one of the members of staff. Very, very pleasant staff there, I have to say. Really nice staff. And it took me down to the basement. And I said, I'll be about 10 minutes down here just while I test to see that everything works. He said, OK, if you need anything, come back and let me know. So I sat down there, set up my computer, opened it up. First of all, I tried the hotel signal. It worked, but very, very weak signal. You know, you couldn't rely on it. So then I plugged in the T-Mobile dongle thing. No signal whatsoever. And I plugged in the 3 mobile dongle thing. No signal there either, so I did move around the basement in different parts of it, because sometimes, as you probably know, with a mobile phone, you can have no signal there, move it a foot to the right, and you've got a signal. But there was nothing at all in that basement, so unfortunately, I had to ring up the lady, what was her name, Kelly, I think, Kelly and William. Had to ring them up and tell them that it wouldn't be possible for me to do that for them. They will find someone to do it, of course. Someone who perhaps doesn't rely on the internet to do the well, I mean, it would be. They'd have their own sort of discs or a computer system. So they'll be able to do it for them. But I did feel like sort of, a little bit bad. On the other hand, I'd much rather that than turn up on the day and then find it didn't work. So we didn't get that job. It was a blooming long day, though, because it took me about an hour and a half to drive down there and an hour and a half to come back. But the bonus was, of course, that this hotel was right on the top of the cliff in Bournemouth, overlooking the sea. I mean, the sea is right in front of you. So that was very pleasant. And after I'd done my testing, I put my bag back in the car. I says, can you tell me where is there a fish and chip shop around there? And there's a Harry Ramsdens. Harry Ramsdens. If you ever come to the UK and you go to one of the seaside resorts, there's one in Brighton, there's one in Bournemouth. They do have them all over the place. Harry Ramsdens fish and chip shops. Absolutely highly recommended. So I went. So he said, "We'll leave your car in the car park because you won't have to pay then, and walk down." So I walked down this hill, which was rather steep. And there was Harry Ramsdens, again, right on the seafront. So I went up into the restaurant and they had a nice little table, all on my own, by the window, sitting out, looking at the sea, and I had cod and chips. Very, very nice indeed. And baked beans, of course. Oh, and onion rings as well. I felt very, very greedy that day, and it was all very pleasant, really. But then, of course, I had to climb back up the hill, which wasn't too bad, and then drive the hour and a half home again. You kind of think that it is a wasted journey, but it's not, because then you haven't turned up at a venue and let someone down because your equipment won't work, you know. So I'd much rather that happened. And then in the evening, this all happened on Tuesday, I went down to a pub in Rotherhithe. And what a lovely pub it was. Oh, my God, it's so old-fashioned. It's small, old-fashioned, wooden floors, and it's on the Thames. Now, when I say on the Thames, I literally mean on the Thames. You go out the back door, and there's like a seating area outside for when when it's warm. It hasn't been that cold, actually, this week. And there's the seating area, and then there's like a fence, and there's the river. You know, not the edge of the river, and it's, you know, so high. So wonderful, wonderful pub. And they do a lovely range of food, which isn't overpriced for the area. It's quite an affluent area, this particular part of Rotherhithe, especially by the River Thames. And very, very English. And if you want to go to an old-fashioned British pub, this is the one you want to go to, the Mayflower in Rotherhithe. And it's like kind of down back roads and things like that. Really wonderful place. And I went there to find out about a little job because the guy there is looking for someone else to do a quiz night. So I had a little look around there, seen it, I like it, happy to take that on. So I'm just waiting for him to ring, really. So I'll let you know if that happens, okay? Nothing's said and done until you've done the first job. Do you know what I mean in this game? So there we are. So busy old night, and that's why I wasn't with you yesterday. It all get a bit mad. Yesterday... well, I say yesterday, Wednesday, remember I always record a day before, yeah? Wednesday, I had to go to the solicitors to sign some bits of paper and find out about the leasehold of this new flat that I'm buying to let out, because I do a little bit of property stuff, I'm a landlord. And went to solicitors, and the lady dealing with me, what a lovely lady, Cheryl her name was. Cheryl of, we give it an advert, E.J. Winters. And the lady's name is Cheryl. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Nothing was too much trouble from her. She was quite jolly and happy. She was wonderful. But it turned out that there are a couple of things within the lease that I'm not sure about. Number one, you seem to have to keep asking permission for everything, including keeping cats. You know. And I have a tenant ready to go in. And I know this particular person has a liking for cats, you see. So I want to. So we've gone now back. So we've given other questions. Number one, it was cats. Number two, you would have to ask to install a cat flap. Remember, because it's not freehold. You see, it's leasehold. What was the other thing? There was something else. Oh yes, the tenant going in has shown an interest in replacing some windows with patio doors, right? So. Again, you have to ask permission. So what we've done, Cheryl, the solicitor, lovely solicitor, we like Cheryl. Cheryl has gone and asked these questions to the managing company before we proceed with the buying. And if it's no to any of those, we're going to rethink the whole thing, which is a bit unfortunate, really, because you would lose money that you've already paid out for searches, solicitors, that sort of thing. You would lose that money. But on the other hand, you wouldn't have spent an enormous amount of money and have something you're not particularly happy with. You know, I actually didn't realise we'd gone so far down the line. I thought we were tied in now, but we're not. You know, I can still come out of this if I want to. Of course, it has to be said that the seller at the other end would be bitterly disappointed if I pulled out now, and I would feel extremely bad at doing that. And that's why I would have to have a solicitor to deal with that. You know, I just couldn't. I just couldn't say, look, I'm really sorry, but... You know what I mean? Because, again, they would have spent money looking at a place and then they'd have to find another buyer again. So I'm hoping that the replies to the email. I just had an email drop in there. That wouldn't be them, I hope, would it? No, sadly not. Oh, I all got excited there. An email dropped into my account then, and it didn't happen. Never mind. Yes, hopefully the replies to the questions will come back. Yes, and then we can move forward and perhaps to get a date for the exchange of contracts, and then of course moving my tenant in there. So busy, busy, busy. All right. After that, we went for a carvery. Now, as you know, I'm vegetarian now, boys and girls. Became vegetarian last month. So we went to this carvery. My mate isn't a vegetarian. So we went to this carvery, and he had, you know, the usual turkey and whatever. And I said, have you got a vegetarian option? Because I wasn't sure that they would have, not on the carvery section. He said, yes, the vegetarian option today is lasagna. Now, I'm a great fan of vegetarian lasagna, very nice. Either corn lasagna or, you know, vegetables lasagna, all very nice. And I wasn't so sure about it with the carvery. I said, well, how does that work then? He said, well, we bring you the lasagna. It'd take, you know, 10 minutes to make it up for you. And then you can go around and help yourself to the carvery vegetables, you know, roast potatoes, carrots, peas, onions, Yorkshire pudding and all that. So, okay, so we said, is it all right to do the vegetables now? He said, yeah, that's fine. And, you know, so we went round and got the vegetables, and I sat down there and I ate the roast potatoes and the carrots and that, and I overcame this lasagna, which looked absolutely delicious, as indeed the plate of vegetables did. So I moved the vegetables to the side, and I started on the lasagna, and I thought, this is nice, but it doesn't taste right. And of course, what had happened, the plate of potatoes and vegetable was delicious. The lasagna was delicious, but together they weren't right. Do you know what I mean? You can't be having roast dinner vegetables and potatoes with a lasagna. You've either got to have, I don't know, a salad or chips maybe, but not roast potatoes and vegetables. It just didn't taste right. And for the first time that I can remember ever, I actually left half of the lasagna because it was just the two tastes were completely contradicting each other, and it just was weird. And the bloke come over and he says, oh, didn't you like it? I said, no, there's nothing wrong with it at all, but I think you might be making a mistake trying to serve it with, you know, roast vegetables. I mean, maybe he said, yes. He said, most people would have asked for a salad, but you asked for them. Yeah, I said, I know. I said, that's fine. So you learned something there. Don't have roast dinner vegetables with a lasagna. It just doesn't work. All right? Okay, then. As promised, something a little bit different for you today. I came across this brand new music video on Facebook. It's called We Are The Brits. And if you're patriotic, you are going to love this video. What I particularly like about this is, it's called Brits, i.e. Brits is short for British. So we're saying we are the British. What I particularly like about this is that it has, as it should indeed do so, included all races and religions and people that live in this wonderful country of ours. You know, so many people think if you're British, you've got to be white and talk, you know, well, I mean, you've got to talk English if you're over here. That's my feelings on the whole thing. But so many people think, well, if you're not white, you're not British. And that is wrong. That is wrong. If you were born in this country, you are British. End of story. And what I particularly like about this video is the way it has included many different races, as you are about to see. This is just so brilliant. It's the sort of thing you'd see councils in the UK refusing to play in case someone who is not British is offended. Up yours, that's what I say. 2 fingers up to you. Right, we are British, we are proud of it. Now, the singer and songwriter of this is Anton Lorien, who is the guy you actually see on the video singing. Well, good-looking boy, actually, and he sings it very well. He co-wrote the song with John Simmons, and this email is coming from the Brits team. It says, if you could include it on your show so people can watch it, it would be amazing. And I've written to the people. See, once I saw this, I thought, I really want to play this on the show because you haven't seen it anywhere else. So I wrote to them and kindly they have agreed to say yes to that. The email goes on, we appreciate any help to get this out there and we are working round the clock on social media sites to try to get it into the public eye. Everyone who sees and hears it loves it, but it's been a huge barrier to try to get the BBC to accept something so pro-British. I know exactly what you mean. We're hoping, because of the Olympics and Diamond Jubilee this year, we haven't got a lot going on in the UK this year. If you're coming over, there's going to be an awful lot for you to do. I mean, stay for as long as possible. You must, you must. We're hoping because of the Olympics and Diamond Jubilee, the BBC will look at these types of things more favourably. Everyone we speak to wants to restore our values and traditions and don't like what they see happening to our country. Now that is, from what I read into that, that is a sort of thing where people from other countries come here and want to live the life that they had in their other country. I think that's wrong. I really think that's wrong. If you're going to come to this country, okay, live as we live. It's setting up your little communities everywhere. Mingle, integrate with us. You know, if I was to move, there's a couple of places I like to move to. I'd love to move to that little island I visited in Australia twice. You know, but I would try and fit in with them. I would do as they do. I certainly wouldn't expect to lead exactly my British life over in Australia. Although, of course, in that particular country, you know, there's lots of things that are similar. You know, it goes on here. The charity, it is actually a charity, was founded by 7 mothers who have lost all their sons on the same day in July 2009. On the blackest day in Helmand for UK forces, so they understand firsthand what it is to lose a loved one in battle. We want this song to give heart to the nation once again. On your point, Anton is a quarter Scottish, a quarter English and half Greek Cypriot, though his mother was born here and regards herself as British. So yes, we are the Brits, not the Europeans. As I've said on this show so many times before, we are British. We are not Europeans. We are British. Okay? Enough said. When you go to these other countries, you know, when you go over to the Americans, when you go to America, you know, they understand. When you say you're British, they completely understand that. Occasionally I've said, but you're European, people might say to you. And you must stand there and say, no, I'm not European, I'm British, okay? I'm just filling you in a bit so you can say what you feel is appropriate for your podcast. The Brits is a rallying cry to unite all of us. Here are some quotes we've had in, and these are quotes that people have sent them. We Are The Brits is inspiring and moving, and I'm sure it will help raise awareness of our troops, some of whom I probably met when I went to Afghanistan last year. Another one here. From Sir David Jason. I do hope that your charity goes from strength to strength, and I join you in your endeavours to remember and pass on the message that our overseas troops now and in the past should always be respected and remembered. And there's so many little bits and pieces that come there. The song was actually written to raise money for the Afghan Heroes charity, but even more so to unite the British, to restore national pride and traditions. You know, a lot of pride has disappeared from people. I mean, you've only got to look around, even around my own house. You know, one of the things, and there's all sorts of different things to do with pride, isn't there? One of the things is the way people look after their homes. You know, once a week I go around my house and I pick up rubbish, and you see people walking around just chuck, you know, it might be on a Saturday night, have a kebab, and just literally right in front of you chuck the bit of paper onto the ground. There's a form of pride. Absolutely no pride in your country at all doing that. You know, where has the pride gone? And this is the sort of thing that we need. It says, when the founder of the charity heard the song, she said, "This is who we are and what we do. We're taking our country back." Please, please watch this video. Okay, let me see if there's an email for you to send any comments to you. Yes, if you want to comment on the video at all, then you can directly contact the people that made the video, and that is We Are The Brits, okay, We Are The Brits at hotmail.com. You don't have to be British to make a comment to that if you don't want to. You could be anywhere, you could be in the States or wherever. You know, We Are The Brits at hotmail.com is the email address. So here it is. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is We Are The Brits.
1,000 years in just one place. We kept it strong, we kept it safe. This rough and tumble island race, surrounded by the sea. Spanish Armada, Nazi bombs, we stood together, proud and strong. We kept these islands all along, sovereign and free as the ocean that surrounds us. We are who we have always been. We are the Brits. You better get used to it. We're the Brits. Don't try to give us any. We are the Brits. 1% of the human race. We're the Brits. And we are in your face. We gave the world penicillin, phonofax and television, electric light, commercial jets, a global language, the internet, cricket, tennis, golf, football, rugby, squash, rules, Shakespeare, Chopin, photography, parliamentary democracy. We are the Brits. You better get used to it. We're the Brits. Don't try to give us any. We are the Brits. 1% of the human race. We're the Brits. And we are in your face. God save our gracious Queen. Long live our noble Queen. Santa victorious, happy and glorious. Long to reign over us, God save all. Britain sleeps safe at night. Young men stand ready to fight those who would do us harm. Freedom assured by force of arms. Soldiers sail like RAF. We walk free, they stood the test. Toughness, courage, human soul, and our boys in helmets still on patrol, while their families weigh them one down. But they don't make a fuss of it. We are the Brits. You better get used to it. We're the Brits. Don't try to give us any. We are the Brits. 1% of the human race. We're the Brits. And we are
There you go, the video, We Are The Brits. What do you reckon, eh? Isn't that great? Oh, I love it. I love it. Once again, if you want to comment to the people who made that video, it's wearethebrits@hotmail.com. wearethebrits@hotmail.com. And as it's a charity, do them a favour, take this show, okay, and repost it on your Facebook wall so as many people get to see that video as possible. And me, actually, and me as possible, as many people get to see us British people as possible. Thanks very much for watching and listening to the show today. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye.